Hello, it's Celeste. Yes, I am still putting in my earrings. My hair isn't done because I'm giving it a beauty treatment. But this is it. Welcome, welcome. I'm so excited to be talking to Susan Lynn again. Here she is. Let me invite you up. Friday, there was a problem, this Mercury retrograde, but I have a good feeling. Ah, I hope people have. Hey, Nazim. Hi, everyone. Oh, let me try again. Susan, invited. Okay, Susan, you should be able to come right up. If not, you can try pressing the camera at the bottom. Mm. And you can type in the comments if you're having a problem. But hopefully you can join. So anyway, the sun is in Scorpio today. Oh my God, I wonder if something's wrong with my, oh my goodness. Why can't you join? Okay. Oh, there. Okay, let me try hitting accept. Let me try that again. Oh, there you are. Oh, I was going to be devastated if you couldn't join.
I don't know what button I just kept pushing buttons until I got here. Thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Oh, I appreciate you making the time. You are so wise, and your last conversation with me helped so many people. So happy to have you back. And introduce yourself in case anyone doesn't know you.
Thank you. Thank you, Celeste. I'm Susan Lynn. I'm a psychic and a medium. I have a YouTube channel. I talk about politics. I predict politics, but I also do a lot of spiritual videos. I have events. I have an online community with 1,100 amazing members. I'm pretty busy and I love it.
Wonderful. And I just have to let everyone know. So, Susan and I were just talking because I had been on her program and she just got some psychic hits about me. And one of them was to just, she was like, it's like a weird thing to say, but I feel a virus around your building. And so here me is thinking, oh, I got to be careful about COVID. I'm wearing a mask with that African virus. I was like, oh my God, please don't come to my building. It was a computer virus that was around me. And oops, I almost got caught with it, but my virus software saved me and I had to call someone and all this kind of stuff. So Susan is the real deal. She told me this last year and she gave me the timing. And right, and here it is. You know, she thought it was close, it was in this year and closer to the spring. So yes, I so appreciate that. And other wonderful insights as well that you shared. So I just had to let people know about that. So how are you doing? You've got a lot of Virgo, and we just had this Virgo lunar eclipse, which I call it the eclipse from hell nightmare.
It was intense, but you know what? Our friend Aubrey, who's also a great astrologer, I feel like more my Cancer rising, and she did that meme with the crab with the knife. That's
uh,
how I feel. I feel like a crab with a knife. Don't come for me. I got pincers. I got a knife. Things are not well. Uh, but yeah, it's we're all just sort of hanging in there, aren't we? In our own way. I think it's hitting all of us in some way. And that's why I love astrologers. That's why I love you, Celeste, because she's on social media every day helping us understand this is what's getting ready to happen. You better, pay attention. So I am thrilled to have met you and to know you and to count you as a friend and to get your advice. Let me tell you.
yeah, yeah. This is a hard one because the okay, so first of all, we're having the nodes are in the south nodes in Virgo and the north nodes in Pisces. And this is the axis of health and well-being. So stuff gets real. And I see Virgo as the physical part of our health, like our bodies, our routines and rituals that support our bodies. And that sort of thing. Also, it's like land, farmland. And so what we eat that nourishes us and just like the basics kind of stuff. And Pisces is our imagination, it's our mental health. It's like, oh my God, I have come up with so many when you don't know what's going on. And the Neptune is next to the North Node. So it's like imaginations running wild about what could be coming or what is happening or that sort of thing. Now, it's beautiful in that people have an opening to a psychic experiences and psychic skills sharpening or your intuition sharpening, but worry and anxiety are really ramped up right now for people who for every like a lot of people. I mean, some people are like, what do you mean nothing's going on? I don't know, but I doubt very many of them. And then Saturn, which is the greater malefic. Saturn takes away from life and enjoyment. Now, it's the hard work. So Saturn's our friend in a lot of ways, where we put in effort and sustained effort, we can achieve success. But it's also, my house got hit by a tornado and now I don't have a house. That's Saturn. It's like, it takes you down to, it's a grim reaper. So that's part of the eclipse. And then Mercury went retrograde on that day. And Mercury rules communication,
And
thought
Venus.
processes, commerce, and in Aries, where it's like sharp. And the knife, you said the knife, so the crab, Mars is in Cancer right now, so the crab already has a knife, and the Mercury retrograde is just sharpening its blade. I had to apologize to my boo because I was a little cross on Saturday when the energy switched. So, yeah.
Oh my God. And Venus is retrograde.
And Venus is in her detriment. Venus does not like to be in Aries because Aries is the sign of the self. And Venus likes to be in Libra. She's as far away from home as she can be. So there's already the nature of like of conflict in relationships. And then with the retrograde, and then you add it's all about me, Venus and Aries, or it's like it's a lot that we're going through at this time. So people need to give themselves grace. If you're yeah, so many people have been on edge for various reasons.
I mean, some good reasons,
Yes.
really, but it's not helpful. It's just not. It doesn't help anything to be in that state of worry. Stinking Cute wants to know: is it a good time to start a dietary health program?
Excellent time. And I've been saying I might do a cleanse because what is happening right now? Saturn had a rebirth last week, and the planets have a rebirth when they meet the sun. So the sun came cruising into Saturn last week, burning off old stories, giving it a rebirth. So there's like this death and rebirth energy. So Saturn rules discipline. Discipline has a rebirth. Venus, which is the desire to put stuff in your mouth and feel ooh, is dying. Venus is dying. So Venus is diving in, meeting the sun. Venus and the sun are headed for each other. Venus is going backwards. The sun is going forward. They're going to meet on Saturday. So this week is a great week to start a new plan because discipline's higher. The need to indulge is like, it's getting a little crazy, but it's weakening. And then if you do it before the rebirth, you're more likely to keep with the program. So I would do it before Saturday. Start it.
That's good advice.
On Saturday.
And it would be not a bad time to do just a health cleanse with all of the things going on right now. For those of you that do that stuff.
Yeah, I'm going to do my Prolon cleanse. Yeah, I need to get that started.
That sounds like a robot to me. I mean, for me, a cleanse would be not eating chocolate for 5 hours. That would be that I'm cleansing right now. I can't eat until 4 o'clock, and then I'm going to have 3 times as much chocolate as I normally have. And it's interesting you said about Venus and eating, because I've been eating and eating, and I was thinking, what? It's not even normal. Like, why am I eating? It didn't even feel like stress eating. It just, I was actually hungry, to the degree that my spirit guides, last night I had a dream where they were showing me on a scale, and I thought, oh, that's not as bad as I thought it would be.
Well, Venus
They
is our
can't even shame
pleasures.
you.
Venus is the pleasure-seeking planet, and it's retrograde, and so it's like it can act in extreme ways. So it's like,
Oh,
oh, I want
nice.
this. Oh, I want that. Oh, I want this. Also, worry burns calories.
You think? It hasn't burned any on mine. I mean, man, I'm a Virgo. I'm like a worry professional.
I know. I'm myself noted Virgo, so
Uh,
I've got I've got you there. I know how to manufacture worry. So what do you do to help yourself stay grounded as someone who's psychic and really can feel? At times, all of the collective energies have been like overwhelming. And what do you use to stay grounded?
and especially with all the astrology that's happening right now, right? Um, I think it's different for everybody, but I think really and truly, everybody could benefit from distancing yourself from the news,
Mhm.
right? Like just giving a timeout. Just you need a timeout. Like for me, I love nature. That helps me ground. Drinking more water than I think I need to drink is something my spirit guides have been talking about. And just taking time out. Like I realize that I'm spending more time on just like funny videos or a show that I wouldn't normally be doing. I know that I need that kind of time away from everything. Grounding your energy for those people, if you like to take baths, but really, and I think this has something to do with Pisces, is escaping. Just we need to escape a little bit more than maybe we did last month. It just seems like the noise, the heat, everything is getting higher, and I need to get away from it.
Yes. And this is a good time to get away, get some rest because Aries season starts on Thursday. And it's going to be like,
You
what
heard it
is
here,
going to
folks.
shoot us out of a cannon? It's
Get your
probably going to
nap
be,
in now. Take all the naps now, because on Thursday, you're going to be like, nap? I need to go do laundry. And you're going to be like, what's the matter? I'm telling you guys, when you need to know what's the matter, look at your astrology, tune into Celeste, and you'll be like, oh, that's what's going on.
yes, yes. So it's, yeah, this is the time to rest. Yeah. Do you want to talk a little bit about how the eclipse showed up from a worldly perspective?
Okay, and so if you're new to me, I talk to my spirit guides kind of seamlessly. Now, I don't talk to them when they say bad things about chocolate or cheese, but when they're talking about like things that I'm interested in. So when you said that, what I'm hearing is it's a restart, it's a reset. I don't know
Mm.
anything. I swear I don't know anything about astrology, so maybe this makes sense or it doesn't. But it feels like a reset energy, and I mean like what we used to call a hard reset, like sometimes you just close out of the app, right? But
Yeah.
sometimes you go, hey Siri, restart my phone. And she's like, are you sure? And you're like, yes. So that's what it feels like. It feels like lights out, lights on, like a very strong reset. And I feel like, and I know this from you, that these eclipse energies last, right? Like they have some mileage on them, and time on them. So this energy may not even really be felt. The
Mm.
reset started, but it kind of takes a long time to travel through time and space.
Yes.
And we might not feel it until another month or two, or it might show up in your life in a month or two.
Yeah, yeah. So what can happen with eclipses? These are intensified new and full moons. And so the lunar eclipse we had on Saturday or Friday, excuse me, was an intensified full moon. and where a lot's revealed. And what happens is the Earth is between the moon and the sun, so it is exact. That's every eclipse. It's like a light switch goes off,
Okay.
the channel change, and then comes back on, and we moved into a new situation. We can't go back. It's like I like to say, we walk through a door and we turn around and there's a wall. That's that's it. And now we're pulled forward into a like pulled forward, and events often happen to the day, but sometimes it'll take a month or even 3 months to see your story. Sometimes when the sun squares the eclipse degree 3 months from now, that's when you feel your story, or even later until the next eclipses. But yeah, so this is the story we're in with, and we've been feeling it coming in. You see events starting to filter in even 6 weeks in advance. And Virgo rules workers, and it's the South Node is in Virgo, which sweeps things away. And they see what's going on in the United States with the government workers being fired. I mean, it's on steroids. But the things that happened on Saturday, what happens when the lunar eclipse comes before the solar eclipse? So in 2 weeks, we're going to have a solar eclipse in Aries, the first sign of the zodiac. And there are going to be things that are happening right about now that we see events. On the right before the solar eclipse. So, and I wrote this on I wrote this on one of my little things I've been writing, which I've got to stop. I'm just like letting my mind go crazy. But anyway, sunlight is the best disinfectant. So with a lunar eclipse, it's like all the light is boom. With the solar eclipse, we're in the dark. Solar darkness is the best cover. So what happened in last year when we had like the flip, the lunar eclipse was in Pisces, was the pager bombs was one of the stories in Lebanon. And then at the solar eclipse, Iran tried to attack Israel. Now, it wasn't very successful, but it was an attack. And on Saturday, or Friday night, the United States killed the number 2 in ISIS and was bombing the Houthis over there. And so this is one of the questions I wanted to ask you. So I think we're going to see something happen right before the solar eclipse, and I'm wondering where it's going to be now. And then we've threatened Iran.
Oh yeah, that too. Egypt came to my mind when you said that. It could be Egypt, but it could also be Egyptian, right? Like an Egyptian person in another country, or some tie to Egypt. And I'm hearing Anwar Sadat. He's probably dead, right? Like, I mean, but whatever, I don't. All I'm telling you is I'm channeling whatever he did. I don't remember. Wasn't he involved in a
Sadat,
peace?
and wasn't that about the peace
The
accords?
peace accords, right? With Carter, maybe.
Yes.
Right. So,
Carter
so that,
or Clinton.
yeah, or Clinton. And so it could be that Egypt gets involved in the peace process, or even scolds them about lack of peace, or I don't know. I'm getting the carrot and the stick, right? So I'm getting that, you can use a carrot to say, come on, here's your treat, or you could use the stick. And I feel like it just feels like authority. Authority comes out. Now, this could also be
That's Saturn, the Saturn and Pisces.
Right. There's an authority. It could be that there's a group of countries and Egypt is leading it. I don't know how Egypt, comes into that. But I also feel like this could somehow be connected to also Ukraine and Gaza. Now, I know that sounds like literally crazy, but it really is the fact that the whole area is destabilized, right? And we, unfortunately, our guy is doing most of the destabilizing. So that's what I get. Who knows how
Yeah.
that might
Well,
manifest.
that triggered some stuff in me. Okay, so Anwar Sadat, the 1978 Camp David Accord. So yeah, that must have been
Carter.
with Carter, and he won the Nobel Peace Prize, and he led Egypt in the Yom Kippur War. That's how he came to light, and he was assassinated during a parade in Cairo.
Sadat was?
Yes,
Right,
that's what
right.
ChatGPT says.
And that kind of didn't that kind of crater the whole thing fell apart. Like the coalition, I'm understanding from my spirit guides, fell
Yeah.
apart. So I don't know. So you have to understand that's the energy. Now, how is it going to manifest, right? It can manifest in many, many different ways, but you might take the essence of that, and that's kind of what's percolating in the energy.
Well, and this is so perfect. One of the big time we're in is Pluto in Aquarius, where groups are coming together, and Pluto Aquarius groups, Pluto is the power. And it's opposite the sign of Leo, and Leo is the sign of like kings and royalty, or the one. So we're seeing and our president wants to turn Gaza into a casino Riviera resort, and Egypt is one of the countries leading a coalition to come together
I didn't know that. Okay, good.
To help a two-state solution over
The
there. So
Palestinians, right. So what I had gotten a long time ago was I feel like Egypt could end up being sort of an influence or a country that stands up, because I don't really see a lot of Arab I don't just see anybody really stepping up to say we're gonna be your person. So yeah, that's fascinating. Now, how would the eclipse, how would the Pisces Virgo eclipse affect that?
well, Saturn in Pisces. Okay, so Pisces rules people who are like powerless, who are, it has to do with like Saturn and Pisces, people in prison. We saw in the eclipse, the sun was conjunct Saturn and Pisces. So it's spotlighting this theme about people who are displaced, in hardship, have very little, are homeless, drug addicted, refugees, all of this kind of stuff. And we've seen so many stories about that, like the Venezuelan gangs being sent to what is that called, El Salvador, the refugees there. In the United States, these tornadoes and these storms that are creating all this havoc, are making people homeless. People have passed on. Saturn is the Grim Reaper. There were over, I think, 36 people who died this weekend in these storms. It's horrible. It's horrible. It's horrible. Yeah. And so, yeah, so that's what we're being spotlighted on. Yeah. And, all this, the Alien and Sedition Act coming back, which was used to put the Japanese in internment camps and things like that. Yeah. So that we're really, this is a topic that's being.
So what are some bright spots? What do we have going for us?
Well, I feel like the Pluto in Aquarius is people rising up and making change. Like the people in, I think it's Serbia. I mean, there was like 100,000 people in the streets fighting against the government for their rights. In Hungary, which has been, this guy thinks Hungary is such a big example. Tens of thousands of people in the street. So I think people are in the U.S.
In the U.S.
All the people in the streets, and it's just going to get more and more and more. Somebody said, who was it? It might have been Michael Steele, who said that this summer is going to be the summer of protests. Yeah, and he's absolutely right. Yeah, Uranus in Gemini starts July 7th. And that's definitely, I feel like one of the stories could be people in mass protesting Uranus revolts, and Gemini rules are, the streets, the transportation, local. I'm gonna get a tissue. Sorry.
That's all right.
My nose is gone.
That's all right.
But the bright spots, I focus on the bright spots of, I have food to eat, I have a roof over my head, I have, yeah, I
I really
have friends
feel
and
like the
family and
lesson.
all of this. Yeah.
I really feel like the lesson is community. The Aquarius energy in Pluto. It's about community, and I feel like how we get through this is taking care of each other, is being there for each other, supporting each other, being allies. If you're not a person that's under attack, I have a lot of power as a white woman. I can show up and in those rooms, right? I can say this is not acceptable.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do this. I'm going to step down, or I'm going to cause you pain. We have that power to do that, and I really feel like we have to use it.
Yeah.
We really have to use it. We cannot just sit on the sidelines. I'm telling you right now, it's not going to be allowed. If you're trying to sit on the sidelines, you're probably going to be pushed. Now, having said that, I would also say that you have to be careful how you get involved. Like, so for these protests,
Be careful.
please look into how to do it safely. Like, I saw a video where a guy said, we all have facial recognition on our phones, right? Well, if somebody steals your phone, they can wave it in front of your face and open it.
Mm-hmm.
If a police officer wanted to, they could take your phone and wave it in front of your face and open it. So there's lots of things that I think we don't understand about how to protest safely, covering up any tattoos that you have, wear sunglasses, wear a hat, wear a mask, be as unidentifiable as possible. So, we have to do these things, but please do them safely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely research before you put your shoes on, make your sign, and hit the streets. Absolutely. And that's a good point, to take off your facial ID on your or any thumbprints or any of that on your phone, so that they can't go through all your data and like pull out some nudie picture or whatever and use it to humiliate. Like, there are all sorts of ways that people of that can use. So yeah, but yeah, the Tesla stock is down 40%, which is so that's the power of the people. Just to say, I don't want that. And there are people protesting the dealerships and whatnot. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, what do you
protesting Vance. When Vance was trying to go skiing, people said, nope, you're not going to have a vacation. We're going to make it unappealing for these people. We're going to make their lives uncomfortable. That's what we can do.
Yeah, they thought they were just going to make our lives hell.
And now we're going to make theirs.
And yeah, they can make with the pen. Yeah, they can, but yeah. Someone said, Nazim said the Sadat was a friend of the Shah of Iran. Sadat and Begin negotiated the peace. That's right. Yeah.
So that's interesting about Iran, because Iran is, kind of problematic. So it could be that there's a new axis. You know what I mean? That Egypt, and it may not be a great thing. It could just mean that there's a new axis of power that then says, we have power, now we want to negotiate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which is Saturn, I think, the power and control, authority. We have more authority than you think, is what I'm getting. And I don't know how that's going to play, because our guy, and I don't want to say he's our guy because he's not really our guy, but the guy that's there in the White House, he doesn't negotiate, right? So this could really be this Virgo-Pisces axis. This could really be loggerheads in a sense.
It is. It is. Apparently, he's begging people for eggs. He's begging Denmark for eggs
This is
after
unbelievable.
Finland told him to go pound sand.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, and didn't, and I haven't sourced this, but I've heard it from multiple sources that Florida was trying to get gas from Mexico. I don't even know why, but these, are they tone deaf? Read the room.
Yes.
Read the room.
Yes. I mean, I hope, I mean, we'll see how it happens, but remember how we all thought Russia's army was all this powerful?
And they're not.
Da 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 da. And then they went to war. It's 3 years later in Ukraine, and they're still not able to win this
break it.
battle. I mean, and it's exposed how behind the times they are, how ineffectual they are. I think with us, the lesson may be that, without how much we rely on our allies, and our supposed leader is burning all these ties. And if we run into trouble, and I think this is going to be a story that he does something where he doesn't, because he's a Leo rising, and Leo energy can have a vision, but when you're trying to but forget the Virgo details. There's a lack of details of what is needed. And we see this with the government workers being laid off. They laid off all these people, and like at a nuclear power plant, and it's like, get them back here.
They're like, oops, can you come back to work?
They don't think through the particulars when you're doing chainsaw massacres. So yeah, so it's going to come down to the details. This is the basics you need. Like, imagine an army jet or whatever, an Air Force jet getting ready to go off and do its mission, but it doesn't have gas. And it's in the middle of the Bering Sea or something. And
I have to tell you,
call it Denmark, Finland, this, that, the other, whatever. I'm not even sure where the Bering Sea is, and they're like, hello, and it's like, oh yeah, let me introduce you to Mr. Click.
Exactly. Fafo. Let me introduce you to Mrs. Fafo. It's interesting because, what my spirit guides have been saying is I do videos where I try to forewarned is forearmed, right? Like, this is what I'm getting. So I do, and I have seen troops amassing in Panama. But what I saw is exactly what you're talking about. Like the admiral or somebody says, oh, we don't have the ramp to get the tank off of the boat. Who was supposed to bring the ramp? Did you bring the ramp? Did you bring? There's no ramp. And I swear, I think it's also on purpose so that they don't have to actually do it. But it is this energy you're talking about of like, Florida's out of gas, the country's out of eggs. We can't get I think it's a comedy of errors is what I think.
That's what I called it, a screwball comedy.
Screwball comedy.
That's what the energy I'm getting. I mean, it's not funny. It's a nightmare. But it's a dark comedy. But it's a comedy. Yeah, it's like, and then we have to go through this. It's what we have to do. Someone asked how long it will last. Well, the eclipse portal between the lunar and the solar, and that's like 2 weeks. So we're in it. This, especially next week, feels like, well, this week too, Aries season starts. They're like, this next couple of weeks is really kind of chaotic. And then through the new moon solar eclipse for the next month, there's going to be a lot of stuff, especially before the April 12th. So let me give dates. Okay. So March 14th was the lunar eclipse. Events that came to light then or happened then, there'll be reactions that happen by the solar eclipse, which is on March 29th. That's a Saturday. That's a good idea to have an in-home night rather than go out. I think these next 2 weekends are better to party at home. Yeah, because there's a lot of chaotic energy. And then there's the solar eclipse in Aries, and Mercury is on a world point. So there's going to be something big, some big story of an Aries nature. Aries rules war, conflict. But with the South Node in the health sign, the nodes speak to the bigger story. There could be news about migraines or some kind of health stuff related to the head, the eyes. It could even be like a remedy or something like that, a reversal of some health thing. It could be good news. And then Neptune goes into the sign of Aries. So that's a huge thing. So there's going to be huge news on March 29th, March 30th. So March 29th is the eclipse. March 30th is the Neptune goes into Aries. April 12th, April 7th, Mercury goes direct. April 12th, Venus goes direct. And then we have a full moon. So between now and April 12th is very chaotic in a lot of ways.
What is Neptune and Aries like?
So Neptune is the planet of illusions and delusions, and it just like disperses things. Like it can disperse gas, it can disperse, like it rules oil. We already have some ship burning on the ocean. Aries is fire, so putting fire and oil together is what Neptune is. Aries is. Now it can be inspired leadership, like, and it idolizes and glamorizes. So Neptune and Aries can glamorize the warrior archetype in a lot of ways. And it can also be about, something about problems with people having problems with their eyes. But yeah, spiritual leadership, believing in a cause. I think we're going to have the draft coming back because in countries around the world, because of what's going on here. And it's like, it's your valor to stand up to fight for your country. You already see it in Canada. They're all
You really do.
They're like they're coming together to fight. And one of their leaders was talking about the butcher block and all these hockey moves they haven't even pulled out yet that they're going to be bringing to the U.S.
Oh
It's like, oh my God,
I feel terrible.
Canada. And cooler heads are not going to prevail in this fight with what used to be your allies. Venus rules allies. Mercury rules communication and thinking. If they're both in Aries, so impulsive, fast decisions. You can be like, turn their lights off, and then all of a sudden, Michigan's dark. I mean, this is stuff that could happen with this energy. I hope it is not going to happen, but yeah. And oh my God, and we've got so much coming. I mean, it's like it's very volatile right now, and it's incendiary, and it's like, oh my God. So I'd be mindful, especially like transportation on the 28th, 29th. There can be like people fighting on a bus could be like something you see when you when you open Instagram. Yeah. It could be just a lot of upheaval and turmoil.
Keep your head down. I would tell people, keep your head down. It's not your fight. It's not right now. It's not your fight. I would be very careful around protests personally.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like once the subset with the M name, once they get mad, they're the ones going to be in the streets. They're the ones that it's really their fight. It's not our fight. We didn't do this. It's not our problem. But I would tell people to keep your cool and keep your head down, because I think people can fly off at the handle, like road rage, like transportation. Like if you're flying, somebody might get into a kerfuffle. It's just like things can go from like I hear you saying it's like everything was fine, and then it just blew up.
Yeah.
And that's the energy she's talking about, right? Like when someone is totally fine, like customer service, a lot of customer service. Also, I'm seeing this at like doctor's offices or like in a waiting room. Somebody's fine, and then they just snap. It's like this snapping energy.
Well, apparently there are these scientists in Antarctica. They're from, I think, South Africa. and they're trapped in Antarctica or something.
Oh
And
no.
one of the people there, one of the scientists or somebody, is being violent. And so they're trapped, Saturn and Pisces. They're like prisoners. And then they've got this Mercury retrograde and Aries person flipping out, throwing stuff. Who knows what they're doing? But that's, yeah, that's the energy. All
They
of a sudden,
snap.
there's no more checks mixed. And then the person in the seat next to you
Yeah,
flips out. I
exactly.
would not even toot my horn
No,
at anyone
no,
over the next
no,
couple of weeks.
no,
I really wouldn't,
no. Keep your
because
head down.
people are like, look what's happening to Chuck Schumer. They're ready to behead him. And this is, yeah, this is, it's in the energy. He had a book tour, Mercury retrograde. Retrogrades, what they do is, I should say, it's a beautiful time to go within and rethink, revisit, revise things in your own life. But it intensifies the energy of delays, reversals, and conflict, and collapse of things contemplated. He had a whole big book tour planned. It's canceled because they know people are going to be coming and screaming at him. He's the head of the Senate for the Democrats because he went along with keeping the government open by agreeing to this continuing resolution, and the rest of the party wanted to stop it because it gives too much power, and it just wasn't done in a bipartisan at all manner. But I want to ask you about this. I'm kind of not mad at him. I feel like something's going to happen where we're going to be glad that the government's open so Democrats can't be blamed. Does that connect with you? Oh, no.
Yes. Okay. I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here. Okay. Where Democrats can't be blamed. What was the first part of what you said?
Well, Chuck Schumer changed his mind. That's a reversal, Mercury
right. Well,
retrograde.
Right.
And went along. He was going to say no, but then he said yes. And so they got through the continuing resolution. So the government budget fights pushed till September, which is more in line with the energy then is more in line.
He saved his bacon. I didn't realize that. I did hear that he thought that sending it back to the House could do something little, some little changes. But the spirit guides are saying he's trying to save his own bacon. And I don't know. I'm sure there's an astrological reason for this, but what I'm getting from the spirit guides is people are unforgiving. Their give a damn is busted. They're just unforgiving. Like they're never going to forgive him. So no. I think that's something interesting that maybe we should pay attention to in our own lives too, because it seems like we're fed up to here, right? We're fed up to here. And if you push us any further, there's just a sense of not being able to forgive people. I don't know what that is or why that is.
Well, for him, the eclipse was to his south node, which is a drain. So he's going to be held accountable for what he did when it comes to his next election. And they're pushing Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez to primary him, to run for Senate in his seat.
Do it.
Yeah, it's time for him to sit down. He's not a very effective leader from what I can see.
No.
Yeah.
Or he's not been effective recently. I'll say that for sure. For whatever the reason. So be careful with this forgiveness, right? Because you were even saying, you started out this video saying you had to forgive you're sorry to your boo.
Yeah.
I just feel like it must be this Aries, like things are just so sped up. Like you say something before you think about it.
That's exactly
or you do something without thinking about the repercussions. And then even I get this sense that like later you're like, why did I do that? Why did I even, you don't even know. You don't even know why you said it. It's that snapping energy again. Like something.
Yeah, it's like, it's impulsive behavior can lead to an issue. Yeah. And if you feel like you need to make amends, I would do it right away rather than letting it linger and linger, because then it could go too far. And now with Schumer, he can't take it back. I mean, it's done. But what my question for you is, did you get any sense that, because I've been feeling like something may happen. Well, you know what, these storms, these storms are causing all this havoc. If the government was shut down, then the administration could blame Democrats for not being able to support the people who are
I know.
homeless, this and that. Now they can't do that.
But
They can't say that. It's their fault if you can't get the help
I
from
get
the
it.
government.
And I think that was Schumer's reasoning. And I get it. But here's the thing. I think we've got to stop thinking like we're dealing with rational people here.
Yeah.
Because yeah, okay, sure, he has to own it, right? Like the Democrats are like, he should have to own this. He's never going to own it. He's never going to own anything. None of these Republicans own anything.
Yeah.
They don't. So I don't think it I don't think it counts. I don't think that people are going to blame Republicans right now. I think that we're not quite there yet. I think that when FEMA is literally gone, NOAA's literally gone, midsummer, people will probably right around that when the eclipse comes back again,
Yeah.
when it activates again, is when I think the light bulbs are going to go off and people are going to be unconsolable is the word I'm getting. Like, again, unforgivable. Like, they're just going to flip. I don't understand. It's some kind of flipping of the switch. And that's it.
That's June. So June time frame, the June time frame when the sun is in Gemini, that's when this is going to so that would be June. Where are we? Around June 14th. And that's a day where Jupiter, which is the benefic in Cancer, squares Saturn in Aries. So that's like you're expecting some kind of benefit
and you don't
get it.
There you go.
That's
there
what
you
that
go.
is. And people
So,
get mad.
It could be also that he was floating. He's been floating all these things,
Yeah.
right? Like, you're going to get $5,000, and now what he's floating is, I don't know if you've heard it, but anybody that makes less than 150,000 is not going to have to pay any taxes.
Yeah,
That's
right.
his new thing he's floating, and I think even those people at some point they realize it's a shell game and they're never going to win. They're being lied to, and I think that's when I think June is when the switch goes off, because that's when we see the protests. That's when we see these protests just really rocketing up. So yeah, I think he's going to go a couple of steps too far.
Well, we're already seeing that. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I think I answered how long it will last. Yes, the oil ship crash, Geo Valentine. Pisces is oil, and Saturn, and Saturn crisis from oil, and the structure in the water, and this hardship, and now it's all on fire. Oh, the nodes. Okay, so if you have your nodes, here's a question from Nadia. If your north node is in Virgo and your south node is in Pisces, you are in what's called a nodal opposition. And I think of this as like you're coming face to face with where you are on your journey and what we're supposed to do. So the south node is what's comfortable, and we learned this in our families and da 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 da. And so with Pisces, south node and Pisces, you may come up, and the north node, if you have your south node in Pisces and the north node comes to like if you have boundary issues with someone, like think about someone who like intrudes on their kids' privacy or something. Boom, there may be really serious consequences where you don't speak to your child for a month or something like that. Could be something that comes up that makes you realize, because you're being held accountable, Virgo, for you're not respecting boundaries, Pisces. That could be an example. Now, with the south node, the north node in Virgo, you're born, you have your north node in Virgo, you should have been more discerning about what you said or did. And that's why that south node, you're being sucked out, like, and pulling you to that way. Did that make sense how I said that, Susan?
Yeah, and that's not typical. This is an atypical situation for this particular person, not for everybody. This
Yes.
isn't where the nodes are for everybody.
No, no, this is for people born with the who are in the reverse. For people who are born with the South Node in Virgo and the North Node in Pisces, like myself, the collective is experiencing like a taste of your a taste of your experience, like there was something going on in your childhood where maybe there was a lot of criticism or perfectionism or something like that, that caused anxiety and worry, and had you, Pisces, like you maybe used your imagination to escape from the confines of that, but it's giving you like an intensification of this both sides to help you figure out and balance the energies. Like for me, it's like kind of magnifying anxiety with everything that's going on. So I'm trying to use my spiritual tools to balance myself. And I've made a promise on Saturday. I'm going to be better about that, because I have been like, yeah, I have been a little bit much lately.
It's
Out of
understandable. But
alignment.
look, this is unprecedented, right? Like, I mean, our country's never been here before. We've certainly been through some things, but I don't think we've been through these things. I don't think we've ever been here before. So, of course, we don't know what's going on, and we don't know what the outcome is going to be. And that's very destabilizing. I mean, you see it destabilizing our economy. It's going to destabilize our personal lives, our own mental health. That's why I say take really good care of yourself, right? And we don't need to know all the news all the time. Really, we don't. And you can stay you can stay really well informed just by checking 10 minutes a day, once in the morning and once in the evening. But I get it. It's like it feeds our anxiety, and then it becomes almost like an addiction, you know?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I'm really not going on Instagram as often because I just need to protect myself. Yeah. Okay. Oh, stinking cutes, not stop shopping at red stores. Yeah. I haven't set foot in a Target since the boycott was announced, and I will not. It's one of my favorite places to shop, but I'm not doing it. Mm-hmm. That's how we have Pluto and Aquarius, the power of the people. Target is being sued by their shareholders because their announcements about taking away their DEI programs have caused
Or their
billions.
profitability. I saw that. I saw shareholder revolt
Yeah.
like months ago. That's Pluto and Aquarius. That's the power of the people, right? But it's also unforgivable. Like here's a story you really enjoy. Like this would be something that ameliorates your stress, that makes you feel good. That, you know what I mean? And you're saying it's not worth it. I don't care if I love this store. I'm not doing it. That's unforgivable.
Yeah.
It's this energy of I cannot forgive you.
Yeah.
And we're willing to do it. We're willing to make sacrifices to prove our point. That's
Absolutely.
new. This is new. This is not normal.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's that Saturn. That's that Saturn. Saturn's in Pisces. It's like, it's for emotional reasons. Saturn rejects and excludes. I'm rejecting Target. I'm excluding it from my shopping. I mean, Costco is making a fortune. People are flooding to Costco's. Yeah. Yeah. Mark Kelly, a senator, made a point to say he's getting rid of his Tesla. That's a big deal. Yeah. He's an astronaut and a senator. Uh huh. Ah. Maybe. Oh. Mm, okay. Yeah. Florida is desperate and out of gas. Really?
I don't
Oh.
even know how that. I don't understand how a state runs out of gas. I need to look into that because it's fascinating to me, and it's fascinating that if they ask Mexico, Mexico is like, you know, like you said earlier, click. You know what I mean? Like we're not talking to you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. This is a question. Venus is retrograde, so stinking cute. I love that handle is asking, are we not supposed to get a haircut or color? If you do it regularly, like you're just your time, yes, but if you're doing some radical, like, oh, let me dye my hair pink, I would wait till after a week after April 12th to do something like that. For sure. You might even want to wait a little longer. Yeah, you don't want to make any extreme changes in your beauty routine, or you may get like a new something and it gives you a rash. That's Venus retrograde stuff. Yeah, don't do anything new. Yeah, okay. Oh, so strongly mama's waiting for somebody waiting for a prescription to snap right now because there's huge lines, at the I guess the drugstore. My sister had a bit of a little conflict with someone at a drugstore the other day. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Chuck Schumer canceled his book tour. Yeah, because he was going to have it was not going to be fun for him. Ah, yeah. Somebody snapped at their daughter. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. No, nobody to give our taxes to. What do you think about taxes? Some people were like, are you getting anything about taxes,
People
Shannon?
ask me on my video, on my comments on my videos, and I have to tell you guys, it's okay. I didn't say that in this video. Do the things. It's Saturn. You've got to follow the rules. You're not gonna show the man by not paying your taxes. You're gonna have to pay more penalties. You're gonna have to pay more interest. You're gonna put yourself in the hole. You're inviting a corrupt government to get in your business. Do not invite anybody to get in your business. Use your turn signal. Drive the speed limit. Don't look at people crazy. Like you said earlier, don't honk at people. Pay your taxes. Do the things that you need to do by the law. I know that people are saying don't do that, but I do not feel that that is a smart move.
Neither. Do you think maybe refunds will be so delayed? Is that what gets people mad? That could
That
be.
could be something right there. Absolutely, I can see that. Even delayed to June,
Mhm.
right? To that breaking point.
Yeah.
Everything is going to be broken. Like, the Social Security checks are going to be sent to the wrong person or lost, or I even see the military payments being delayed, or troops being sent to the wrong place and then having to send them some
That's
comedy of
Mercury
errors.
retrograde. The troops show up on the
But
wrong.
times 1,000, right? We have Mercury retrogrades all the time, and yeah, this little thing happens. But I'm seeing it on like a bullhorn, like on a blast, like just.
That's because at the eclipse, Mercury changed direction. So that energy of Mercury is intensified. So it's not a normal Mercury
So
retrograde.
it's like
Yeah.
expanded. Like I mean, y'all, Mercury retrograde in and of itself, drives you crazy. Think about it on like a speaker, like a megawatt speaker or something. So be careful with that Mercury stuff. But yeah, the people are just going to be fed up. By June, July, people are going to be, and not us, because we're already fed up. Like we're
Yes.
paying attention. We see what's happening. But
Mm-hmm.
these people that aren't paying attention, that are, like right now, it's St. Patrick's Day, I think. I'm not wearing green. But, everybody's out, enjoying themselves and wearing green and going to parade. And you look at them and you're like, do you not know what's happening in the United States of America right now?
No, they don't.
Because,
They don't. They think
like,
it's great
they do. But, yeah, we're
because
like,
they're
oh
not
my
on Social
God.
Security or they're not on
Yeah.
Medicaid, and they don't think it's going to affect them until it does.
Bingo. That's what I'm saying. Right now, we have to take care of ourselves because we're on the bleeding edge. We're seeing it. We're aware of it. By the time they become aware of it, we're exhausted. And my guides called it sheltering in place. So if you've ever heard that, shelter in place, stay home, like you said, those couple of weekends, just party at home. Party,
Mhm.
have a barbecue in the backyard, do your own thing.
Yeah, because it's like you're at a bar and you bump into someone and then they
I'm
get all
telling you.
hostile and it's like, who needs that? there's just I mean, it can be fun and exciting, but it could also be there's just so much energy for conflict. I yeah, I'd rather avoid it
I'd
personally.
rather not test it, right? Like it could be super amazing, and I'm sure people will have that. Listen to your own guidance. You know, you have
Yes.
a gut feeling. Do I don't feel like going to that party. I don't feel like getting out this weekend. Pay attention because your guides are guiding you all the time. So if you just like, I don't know what, like for instance, I had really good weather myself. I had great weather where I was this weekend. And I spent the whole weekend inside and I was like, what is the matter with me? But that's really what I needed to do. I didn't feel like being around people. I didn't feel like going anywhere. And that's what I needed. And I honored that.
Yeah, there was this little girl in, I think it was Oklahoma. Oklahoma's going through it. Who they've had tornadoes before, but she told her mother, I really think we should leave. I really think we should leave. And they did. And their house was destroyed. So if they had
Wow.
stayed, they probably wouldn't have made it or been
Wow.
very, very hurt. So that's listening to intuition, listening to that internal voice that's telling you something. Yeah, and that's the same thing if you're like getting ready to go into anything like a restaurant, the train, the yeah, whatever, and you feel like I shouldn't do it, but you're like I've got to get, don't do it. You're being guided by who knows, who could be your ancestors screaming at you.
Right? Could be. Could be.
Thinking Cuse doesn't want to go to their mother-in-law's. Is that every weekend? Yeah, something about the mother-in-laws. Do I see the economy getting worse? Yeah. The world economy is shrinking because of what this one's doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I can't see the comments. The comments are not updating, so I'll just leave it to you to tell me what's going on.
Yeah. Someone is saying, yeah, it's spreading. Yeah, Europe is getting someone saying people are starting to wake up. When do you see like the people who've drunk the Kool-Aid waking up, Susan?
I think I really feel like, again, it's that June, July.
June? Okay.
I really feel like it's this summer. It's sharp. It's like something punctures your reality, right? Like, and I think if I could ask you, there's something about vision becoming clearer. So is there also a planetary aspect where we're seeing things more clearly?
Neptune in Aries. So
What in
what's
Aries?
happening? Neptune in Aries. So what's happening is like, well, I think the president is like a modern day Jim Jones. There's certain people who just like, oh, give us some more of that Kool-Aid. Give us some more of that Kool-Aid. He is a cult figure. He has Mercury in his chart, square Neptune. He has the power to magnetize or hypnotize. Neptune can hypnotize masses of Americans. He's got Mercury and Cancer, and America's a Cancer sun. Now, Neptune, which is the planet of cults and all that kind of stuff, is really strong in Pisces, but it's at the last degree of crisis and decay. So once Neptune drops into Aries, it'll be harder to not believe your eyes and ears because
there you go.
It's got this new start. It's got this reset. It's like a light flips on and people start seeing. Now in June, Jupiter, which rules the truth, I think it's going to be before June 15th, between 8th and 15th. So right around then, right about that full moon in Sagittarius, Jupiter will square Neptune in Aries. Jupiter and Cancer square Neptune in Aries. Jupiter rules the truth. People start believing what they're seeing with their Aries rules the eye. Neptune, the fog is like kind of gone. And there's going to be a full moon, sun in Gemini, moon in Sagittarius. That's what the president has. And people start to see him for
holy moly,
what he really is. So that could be something.
That is going to be something. And so what I see is these people rushing past us. Like we're over there trying to tell them, this is what's been going on. I'm glad you're awake. Let me fill you in. Like, you know, somebody came out of a coma and you're like, oh, you missed 3 holidays and this kid had a birthday. And they don't care. They get up out of the bed. They're like they just rush past you. That's what these people are going to do. They're going to rush right past us because they're burning mad at one person or group of people. And they're going to be inconsolable. It's words the guides keep using over: unforgiven, unforgivable, inconsolable. And they're really going to be a problem. I mean, they're going to be, you know, all the words you can think of. That's what they're going to be. And they're going to be wild and in the streets, and they've got arms. You guys.
Are they mad at the government? Or
and they're mad at the government. They're mad at their governor, the president, even their city council. They feel betrayed. Think about these people. Think about their energy, how they're just so, braggadocious. And then think about that person finding out that you've been cheating on them.
Yeah. Finding out it's all up. You've been conned. You've been had.
You've been had.
Bamboozled.
And you look like a fool, right? Yeah. Like they're not going to handle that well. That's not going to be no. That is not. They're so different than Democrats. I'm not saying we're the best. I'm just saying they're very different in how they express themselves and how they handle things. And if they feel like they've been bamboozled and scorned, they feel scorned.
Yeah.
Tricked. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, they're not going to be I don't think they're going to be in love with Democrats. I think they're going to be on a mission to take out their own people. It's going to be.
Well, I'm hoping that we come together, because Jupiter in Cancer could square Saturn and Neptune and Aries can be the people of America. America is a Cancer sun, coming together, being mad at a common enemy.
Yes.
So that's what I'm.
When is that?
I'm hoping that this division starts to melt down, because we all realize we're in this together. Yeah. They're trying to take all of our Social Security that
we're not the enemies.
Paid for. We paid into it for our whole careers. It is not an entitlement. And how dare this foreign guy from South Africa tell us that why is he meddling in our government? That's what I'm seeing. Something around that people really, it hits the fan and it's like, oh, this is not okay. Yeah. It's probably financial. Uranus. And that's when Uranus is at that last degree of Taurus. And Uranus is upheaval and Taurus is money, resources, the earth, all of this kind of stuff. Yeah. And then when it moves into Gemini, that's July 7th. That could be these people like really set things off.
Really upset. Yeah. No, I agree with you. I did see, even last year, I kept telling people that I see me in the street, like protesting peacefully, and somebody bumps my shoulder, and I turn around, and it's a guy with a MAGA shirt where he's drawn like the X through it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I look at him, and he looks at me, and then we just continue. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we bump into each other. So I do see that. I do see us coming together and having a common foe that is the orange guy. You know what I mean?
And when you're standing together in a protest, you just start talking.
Yeah.
And you realize you have more in common than you don't have. Yeah. And so this strange bedfellows is a theme that I'm getting. Strange bedfellows. And it was it had to be so hard, but
well, because we wouldn't have done it otherwise. I mean, we wouldn't. We're just so divided. We need something to knock our heads together and bring us together. Mm-hmm. And it has to be a common theme. It's either going to be healthcare. I feel like really it could be healthcare, but it could also be like Social Security. It could be anti-war protest, or anti enlistment. draft.
Draft. Oh yeah,
Because
the draft.
the
The draft
MAGAs
could
don't
be
want war.
Jupiter square. Yeah, Saturn and Aries is happening end of May. That could be you lose your personal sense of um, independence, Aries, because you have an obligation, Saturn, that is imposed upon you. You're being controlled in some way, and you have to fight. That could be what people get really mad at. Yeah, because something could go on in the Middle East between now and the eclipse that things are a big problem, or it could come to somewhere else in the world, or even here. So just follow your intuition, that be mindful of what's going on. Because I got Saturday's word of the day with the Celestial Insight podcast last Saturday was slumber, the day that Isis was taken out. And that, to me, I'm like sleeper cells being woken up. Yeah. So be careful. Just be mindful that, but it may all happen in the Middle East. I don't know. But there's a lot of conflict, and Iran is being eclipsed on the 29th. So we are it's just, the world is changing, and it's scary, but we have to stay grounded as much as we can and take care of our own health and well-being. People have been through, I feel like this is going to be something that's really, really, I don't know. I'm getting like really, really fast, but then
Yes.
I'm hoping.
You mean like the whole thing? That's that Aries energy,
Yeah.
right? It's like we're gonna go. I just feel like there's some big thing that happens and eclipses again. That word. But
Yeah.
I think by August there could be a plot change, a big plot change.
I like that. That Mercury retrogrades in August, the next one. Yeah. That could be really interesting. So it's may you live in interesting times. It's a curse.
It's a
These
curse.
times are way too interesting. I want to live in boring times, okay?
I mean, Biden's presidency was so boring, right? Like, we had really good economy. We didn't invade anybody. We didn't make any countries mad. Jesus.
Yeah, this is so much. It's a lot.
In
but
3 months, in less than 3 months, right? Like, burn it all down. Like, Aries is like, let's just get this over with. We don't have time. Let's get this done.
Yeah. They're rushing. So I don't know. I could hypothesize on all sorts of things, but I have kept you over time because I love talking to you.
Same here.
I could just talk to you for another 2 hours.
I know. It's so much fun to chat with you, Celeste. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Oh, thank you for coming. I'll make you a collaborator, and then I'll cross post this to YouTube too.
Thank you. Awesome. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you take good care, and we'll be in touch soon.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Celeste.
You're welcome. Bye, Susan.
Bye.